Let's take a look at your favorite stocks and stocks that ChatGPT thinks will soar with the government shut down. So, the government shut down right now, but honestly, is that really impacting your life? I'd love to know. Go ahead and put that in the chat what you feel, what you're feeling right now with the government shutdown. The markets aren't scared of it. The markets aren't scared of it whatsoever. The Qs are hitting new all-time highs. Same with the SPY. Like right now, nobody's scared of the market. In fact, it was really funny yesterday. I opened my phone in the morning and the Qs were set to open down, and they opened down and then dominated throughout the rest of the day, and they're up again today. There's always a reason not to invest. But if you have a plan and you know what you're going to do, what you're looking for, what you need to see to get in, then you don't have to stress. You can say, you know what? I got my signals. I'm in, and that's what I'm going to do, which is exactly what we did a few days ago on September 24th. We got in following Plan ETF, which we'll talk more about later. And Plan ETF in this particular account is up nearly $5,000, having done nearly nothing. And we're up nearly 5 grand. It is the easiest, most beautiful trade I've ever seen. Does that mean that it's going to always work out like that? No, but it sure is working like gangbusters today. So let's talk about the government shutdown, right? So ChatGPT has some ideas, right? They were thinking, they, as if it's a real person, gold and precious metal stocks. Those have been on a huge run lately, right? Like GLD, gold has been crazy, but I wouldn't necessarily say that that was because the government shutdown. That happened a while back. That started in August. Is when, in fact, I think we got a buy signal in August. Let's double check on that real quick. Pretty sure that that's why I have that mark right there. 2 seconds here while it loads in. GLD. All right, so GLD is going to load up here, and yes, that mark on there was where the buy signal came through. The outlier buy signal came through on August 26th. So I wouldn't necessarily say that this has gone up crazy because of the government shutdown, and certainly not in anticipation for one, but it's been running like crazy. Defense and aerospace, we do have a buy signal here on Raytheon today. So maybe this stock is going to do well because of the government shutdown. It's getting more and more greedy. You can see right here, the stock is lit up, everything right there. But the industrial sector, not looking so hot. Bearish breadth, bearish fear and greed. About the next one here. Utilities, power, and infrastructure. In fact, I think utilities actually has bullish breadth. So what's some utilities stocks that it's talking about? NEE. Let's go to NE. Grok is saying AEP, Post, and SSRM. Justin's saying Northrop Grumman. I'm saying that is a big ol' ass order block right there. And right now it looks like it pushed through one potentially. We'll have to double check on the chart for today on NEE. Everything, all 9 lit up except for the outlier blocks, which is counting that one. We'll see if it's passed out of it. And the overall market breadth. Let's go look at NEE. Yeah, NEE. Actually, after today, that order block is closed, so it should be great at this point. Should be great. Let's see another stock on here. Walmart, right? But then again, you know, this move right here, I wouldn't necessarily say is due to government shutdown. We looked at Walmart yesterday, I remember. Let's look at it today. Mikey Mike, the market maker, says, "Oh dear, what will I ever do if the government shut down?" Yeah, it's kind of how I feel. It's just politics at play. I am so over politics. Like as soon as Trump won, I was like, my politics brain is off. I'm not dealing with this anymore. But the sector, the staple sector, bearish fear and greed, bearish breadth. Sector's not looking so great. Does have a buy signal, even though it's been going sideways on Walmart for a minute. So not necessarily one that I would think would benefit from the government shutdown. Cybersecurity, Palantir. Demand for infrastructure doesn't always stop. These firms may benefit, especially if defense or intelligence spending is prioritized. All right, let's go look at Palantir. PLTR. This is one of the internet's favorite stocks, Palantir. Sitting right inside an order block. That could be a difficult area to get through, right? And look, right, it's come right up to this area and it has hit it. It's kissed it many, many, many times. We'll see. It might or might not get through here. What do these order blocks represent? It's areas of support and resistance that trapped buyers are ready to get out as fast as they possibly can once they get back to break even. But we do have the buy signal. Outlier's not recognizing that outlier block right there. But other than that, you've got the tech sector working against you, but the stock itself potentially could do great. Potentially could do great right here. So let's watch this video here. Not the whole thing, but a couple minutes of it. The federal government shutdown enters day 2 with no end in sight. And then we're going to be looking at some of your stocks and some potential stocks as well. So go ahead and in the chat put hashtag S if you want to look at a stock that you already own, and then hashtag N if you want to look at some new stocks. And we'll go some new trade ideas. Let's watch this video for a minute though.
Rings en masse at this point. I know we're getting a lot of infrastructure clawbacks in blue states. I don't know. The Democrats, it's almost like the Trump administration wants to make Democrats pay for this.
I mean, they're definitely ratcheting up the pressure on Democratic senators, Joe. And, now that the shutdown, we do know now it is going to delay those Friday's job numbers after senators failed yesterday to get in.
Ooh, delaying the job numbers. That actually will be impactful to the market, right? The market does move on job numbers. Even though they come and revise the job numbers almost on a monthly basis, the market does react to those job numbers. So that's pretty interesting, actually. If they remove the job numbers report, we might not have a catalyst to move up or down, maybe more sideways action. Interesting. Okay.
Enough votes at their latest attempt to fund the government. As you mentioned, no votes today with the holiday. Next votes right now are scheduled to be Friday afternoon. So jobs numbers could be delayed until then, could be delayed until we see funding. And if there is an extended lack of data, that's going to add uncertainty to the Federal Reserve's monetary policy outlook. That's according to a new analysis from S&P Global. And as you mentioned, when it gets to job losses, remember, we've got roughly 750,000 federal employees that are being furloughed. That's
interesting. Nathan says, I work for the government and I'm completely unaffected. Huh.
Furloughed, not laid off, but Vice President J.D. Vance said that layoffs are expected to begin in the next few days.
We are going to have to lay some people off if the shutdown continues. We don't like that. We don't necessarily want to do it, but we're going to do what we have to keep the American people's essential services continuing to run.
In addition to any layoffs, about 150,000 federal employees who took buyouts earlier in the year, they're now officially off the payroll as of yesterday. It was the end of the fiscal year. It was the end of their roles. So I think you have to factor that in as well to any layoffs that we do hear about. And of course, everyone's looking for the potential off-ramp here. One of them is that there is a bipartisan group of lawmakers. They are discussing a potential path forward on extending some of those Affordable Care Act tax credits. But so far, it's not clear that a deal is going to come together. And Joe, as you mentioned, the pressure is only ramping up. You saw $18 billion of funding canceled for New York City infrastructure projects. You saw $8 billion of funding canceled for green energy projects, including hydrogen, all of it from states represented by Democratic senators. So the Trump administration really putting pressure on them to vote with Republicans for that stopgap measure they've been putting forward. Guys?
Right. And we've had, who did we have on yesterday? We had Senator Daines. And there are discussions between senators on both sides of the aisle. And I asked, well, who's close? And he said, well, there are discussions with certain senators, but he wouldn't tell me who the next
moderate Democrats,
3, 4, 5
moderate Republicans. But it sounded like what they were discussing, Emily, was just the idea that they would find a way to continue to fund the government for the next 7 weeks while they discussed the healthcare issue.
Yeah,
which I thought that deal was already on the table.
I wasn't even talking about whether they'd make some type of compromise. I'm talking about who's going to just finally say, I'm joining Fetterman and I'm joining.
Well, my guess is that it will come
King.
from that because it's part of the deal that's already on the table.
There's too much. Yeah, but there's too much pushback from people. We asked Daines. He goes, no, and we have someone else too. And it said, no way we're doing that with the why should we spend $1 trillion on a continuing resolution to fund subsidies for a program that just costs too much? It costs too much, and it's raising the price. It's raising premiums for everyone.
I don't know if anybody else has been watching her, but like she's been trying to get a word in for like 3 minutes now. It's funny to watch.
I mean, that's how healthcare works. If you subsidize it, everyone, all private employers are going to try and get people to move over to the subsidized. That's why we're in this mess right now. And I think there's.
And that's really the interesting thing right now is the cost, right? Because if you look at everything Democrats are asking for, yes, it does total $1.5 trillion. But if you just look at extending these Affordable Care Act tax credits, if you were to do so just permanently, Congressional Budget Office estimates that that's about $350 billion over the next decade. And that's why you're seeing Republicans and Democrats say, look, we can do things like we can cap the amount of income, or we can have people pay a minimum payment, or we can limit those who are actually able to go ahead and take this tax credit. But of course, as you guys were just mentioning, all that takes time. They can't get to an agreement on that in a few days. That's a negotiation that could take weeks, it could take months. And so I think that is kind of one of the things they're discussing. Is there a way to move forward where you keep the government funded, but at the same time know that you are making progress and that you will reach some sort of compromise, say maybe by November 21st, which of course is when the stopgap is going to go to, or even before the end of the year when these tax credits formally expire?
So I don't know about you, but how many times have we had the government shut down? Um, I don't know. I lose track, right? So I don't know. It doesn't really impact me, although it is definitely impacting some people, like Mr. Ross, the boss. His son got furloughed yesterday. So, we talked about some trade ideas that ChatGPT thinks might be working, but let's now shift gears and look at the plan for the day, which is part of the OVTLYR trading room invitation only live stream. This is where we help you save time, make money, and start winning with less risk. So if you're watching the live stream replay, go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. We're going to be going through our comprehensive plans, plan M, A, ETF, and sit in cash and don't F up. And listen, if you want normal returns, this isn't for you. But if you want outlier returns, you are definitely in the right place. So when to use each plan? Plan M and Plan A are very specific on what they want to see for the market. They're not set up today, but Plan ETF is. Plan ETF is the one that we are in right now. And we need to review our active trade exit signals before putting on any new trades, right? The most important part of the plan is planning on the plan, not going to plan. I love that quote. It is so brilliant because you must know exactly where you're going to get out before you get in. So looking at the Plan ETF exit signals, it's super simple. And I get sell signal on the Qs, a 1020 cross on the Qs chart, or a 30-day plus order block hit. So let's go take a look at each one of those. So first, let's go look at QQQ. And what we'll see over here is no sell signal, a buy signal. It's definitely trending up higher. And we don't have any cross downs on the moving averages here. And let's just double check for any order blocks in the way that are older than 30 days. No, because as I mentioned earlier, nobody's sitting up here waiting on price to come back to get out at break even, because this is the all-time high. All-time highs are bullish AF. Anybody who tells you otherwise doesn't know what they're talking about. The only way you get to big, beautiful trends like this is hitting new, fresh all-time highs. All-time highs are bullish AF. So we don't have to do anything to take off Plan ETF. And now let's go look at what the market is telling us today, right? If these are all true, you can continue on with plans M and A. And if not, go to plan sit in cash and don't F up, or plan ETF. So let's go look at this. The SPY bullish trend and a SPY buy signal. Okay, so let's jump over to SPY. And we can see the buy signal came all the way back on August 7th, pushing up higher. No issues there. What's the next step here? It is the buy signal and a bullish trend, right? 10 over 20, price over 50. So we got the bullish trend. That's what that green overlay represents. And then the full stocks breadth. Now, this is close to crossing over. I will give you that. Full stocks is close to crossing over, but it's so depressed, right? We're looking at 24.99% of the market has buy signals, meaning 75% of the market still has sell signals. So I could see this crossing over pretty soon. The 10 EMA moving average is getting really close. But one thing to keep in mind is that we want to see the SPY fear and greed heat map under 70 and rising. Under 70 and rising. It just peaked under 70 today at 69.87 and falling. If it starts to go back up, that would technically be under 70 and rising, but it's so close to 70. And I was talking about this on the morning show. This could be one of the longest periods of time it's ever been over 70. It's been that greedy for that long. I mean, it's been over 70 since July, and it really came up here in May, a brief tick down, and then back over 70 by July 10th, and has stayed above that point the whole time. We have found through data that buy signals that happen when the S&P 500 is showing to have a greed score over 70 are really, really tough. It's a really, really tough market because everybody's so greedy already. There's not that many more people to get in and push the greed up even higher. So these are not all true. So therefore, we will not go to plans M and A. So I'm going to go to plan ETF, which is where I'm at right now. And if you were looking to get into plan ETF, this is how it would look. Let me go to plan ETF real quick. And go ahead and start putting your stocks in the chat. Put a hashtag S for stocks that you own, we want to take a look at, and put a hashtag N for new stocks you want to look at. And we're also going to run our screener here. Plan ETF, an uptrend in the Qs, which we have, a Q buy signal. We already talked about that. Q heat map under 70. When we got in, it was definitely under 70. And less than 2 ATRs above the 20 EMA. So this is what I call the value zone. And you can add this indicator on your chart for free. Just go into indicators and type OVTLYR, OVTLYR, space value, and you're going to see the OVTLYR Plan ETF value zone. This tells us right now that as of today, we are outside the value zone. Don't take that as an exit signal. That is a entry filter. And that's when I got in, was as it pulled down into the value zone, and now it's pushed back out of it, right? All this is measuring is the 20 EMA plus 2 ATRs above the 20 EMA. And so for right now, this is not the day to enter Plan ETF, but it is the day to welcome my co-host who finally decided to show up, Mr. No Show Joe. No Show Joe, how's it going, bro?
Hey, it's going good, man. But it's been a busy day, let me tell you. What I miss? Lots of excitement.
New portfolio tracker built up. We talked about ChatGPT giving some ideas for trades to take during the government shutdown. And then we watched a little CNBC clip. But right now, we already talked about we don't need to exit Plan ETF. If somebody were looking to get into Plan ETF today, you really don't want to because it's outside the value zone. And I was about to start taking requests for new trades and existing trades. And let's take a look at those real quick. Let's look at Jay Fort. He is checking out a paper trade in NRP at 104.38. 104.38. So this is in the oil sector, in the not oil sector, but energy sector. See a little oil barrel right there. Had me go in there. So he took the buy signal, it looks like, a couple days ago. Now the sector itself, not so helpful. The stock is getting more greedy. Looks like there are some order blocks around the area here in RP. Oh yeah. Oof. This is order block city. This is order block city. For me, this is one I would probably avoid for that reason. But it is printing money right now. It is printing money right now. But also just keep in mind, right? This is where buyers are very excited to get out and become sellers because they're finally getting back to break even. So just keep that in mind as you go. By the way, we're using the OVTLYR platform, and you can get access to the OVTLYR platform for just 82 cents a day. And let's go over to Stan Koo is looking at J&J. J&J. All right, J&J. Oh, healthcare stock. I'm going to avoid healthcare like the plague. That is one. That was a decent play on words. Avoid healthcare like the plague. It took me a minute to think of it. Avoiding healthcare like the plague because, man, these healthcare stocks can move brutally. If everything's all set up and it still moves brutally against you, I'm not interested in that sector whatsoever. We've actually found, we've backtested and found that just leaving off that one sector improves your profitability so much. But let's take a look at J&J for Mr. Stanku. And buy signal today, pushing up even higher on the fear and greed. Joe, were you saying something?
Yeah, just to reiterate, though, you're not choosing to not use healthcare in your tracker because of emotion. You're using it based on data, back-tested data.
Right. I have no interest in a sector that has negative expectancy for me, or it brings my expectancy down. I have no interest in that. That can go jump off a bridge for all I care. Looking at this, we're getting super greedy, right? We're up at 89 and rising. The healthcare sector, however, looking really good. You've got more uptrends and less downtrends. That's great. You've got the average fear and greed score growing. So actually J&J looks really, really sharp. But again, this is in the healthcare sector, so I'll be staying away from it. And it does have this big old nasty order block right here. That's going to drive you crazy. Like Joe's camera is driving him crazy right now. Let's go to another one. Let's go to Diff the Outsider, my favorite stock, AMD. It's going up today. The government shut down, so therefore everybody is out buying AMD, right? There are people who are going to make that correlation, Joe. They're going to say, when the government shuts down, you got to go buy the best stock in the world, AMD. What do you think of AMD, Joe?
AMD.
AMD has such a cult following, like SoFi. But it did just trip over and have a bullish crossover here on the moving averages. So that's a great start. Let's go to AMD. And oh no, dude, this doesn't look good to me at all. What I see is the whole tech sector looks like donkey doo-doo. The stock has a bullish trend that just flipped over today, but it's got the signal is still on a sell. The fear and greed is still falling. And the outlier blocks, it's recognizing one right here that isn't showing up in trading view right there. So it could potentially have a lot of headwinds for it. So just watch AMD close. I'm not saying that it's going to crash. I'm just saying I don't see a reason to trade it right now until everything else lights up. And it just makes trading so much more effortless when you have everything working for you, right? 40% of the stocks moves through the market, 30% do the sector, and 30% do the stock, right? So you really want everything working for you. Let's take another look at Allen. Allen got long AEP yesterday. Let's take a look at AEP. Was this one of the ones that ChatGPT was saying? AEP?
I think this is one we looked at yesterday.
Did we look at it yesterday?
Yeah, 8 of 9.
It is 8 of 9. You remember it better than I do. This is in the utility sector. One of the sectors that could do well, according to ChatGPT. Buy signal came through yesterday. Yeah, 8 of 9 right there. Let's go look at AEP's chart. AEP looks really sharp. That's what you want to see right there. Leading up into earnings, that could even help it as well. I love to trade up into earnings. That is a beautiful trade. And so far, AEP looks pretty darn good. Pretty darn good. So let's shift gears now and let's go look at some new stocks that would have set up today. This is using the screener inside of OVTLYR. And so let's go to Dell. We looked at Zscaler yesterday. We looked at Datadog and Apple yesterday as well. So let's look at Dell today, Dell Computer. Did we look at Dell Computer yesterday? We might have looked at it too. But that buy signal came today, so probably not. Buy signal today on Dell Computer. The tech sector is not going to help you out here, but it is getting more and more greedy on the stock itself. Let's go to Dell. And right inside of an order block right there, right inside of an order block. So I would be very, very careful, right? There are people who own it from, where is that at? From 475 days ago who are so stoked, Joe, to finally get out of break even. When was that? June 2024 to now, October of 2025. So yeah, this is definitely one that I would pass on. Let's look at Eric. Go ahead, Joe.
You might consider putting that on a watch list, though, if it's a stock you're really interested in, because that resistance can turn into support once you get through it.
Oh, well said. Well said. All right. So ALB, this is in the materials sector. Again, the materials sector not looking all that hot. Breadth, however, did cross over, it looks like today. And then the stock itself has got a lot going for it. Let's go look at the ALB chart. Very cool. Looks like all is good. You got earnings coming up as well. This one doesn't look so bad at all. Just know where you're going to get out. Just know where you're going to get out, right? And let's take another couple of stocks here. Justin wants to look at UDOW. UDOW. Is that an ETF? UDOW. Yeah, I feel like UDOW is one of those leveraged ETFs. It is. Okay. UDOW is a Ultra Shares or Pro Shares Ultra Pro Dow 30. We're Ultra and we're Pro around here. Ultra Pro. This is a leveraged ETF. I don't know if it's 2 or 3 times on the Dow Jones 30. So let's do this. Let's go to DIA. DIA is the Dow Industrial Average inside of OVTLYR. Let's take a look at it. Oh, Dow Jones actually looks really sharp. Now, this is only 30 stocks, right? It's not like the NASDAQ 100. It's not like the S&P 500. It's only 30 stocks. However, these 30 stocks are doing really well. Buy signal, pushing up higher on the trends, pushing up higher on the fear and greed. The overall fear and greed looks like a bottom and is pushing back up as of today. And then it's got a crossover on the breadth of those 30 stocks. Dow Jones may be a great place to go right now. Hang on, let me go look at here real quick. There you go. Dow Jones looking sharp as could be. Not so bad, not so bad. So listen, if you're ready to save time, make money, and start winning with less risk, you've got to go over to OVTLYR.com, pick up the annual pass for just 82 cents a day, and it's going to show you where these exit signals are coming, because I'm showing you all these entries, I'm giving you all these ideas, but you really need to figure out where you're going to get out. So like Kostya, he's in QBTS. I must have typed that wrong. Let's go to it again. QBTS. We don't cover it yet, but great news, Kostya. Check this out. I got word from Mahesh, our CEO. Where's my notepad? That we are getting 6,000 new stocks. It's going to be pushed back a week or two because of a server upgrade, but 6,000 new stocks sometime in October built into the OVTLYR platform. 300 will be stocks with buy and sell data. Now, 6,000, 300 of those will be stocks with buy and sell data. 4,000 of those will be ETFs with buy and sell data. The rest of them will be everything you could ever want, but they won't all have the buy and sell data. We need more data generated on them, so we're importing them in. And then once we get enough data collected, the remaining ones in that 6,000 will start getting the buy and sell signals. But you'll have all the other data there, right there in front of you. So even though I don't cover qubits today, it's very likely we'll be covering it in the very, very, very near future. So QBTS. Let's take a look at the chart. Yo, that's what you want to see right there. You want to see a powerful, big, beautiful move pushing through and breaking that order block. And that is a great way to end the show. Joe, listen, if somebody wanted to save time, make money, and start winning with less risk, where do you think they should click?
Oh, maybe one of these videos right here.
Right there, over our faces. That sounds like a great idea. Y'all have a great day, and we'll definitely talk soon.